thought this could be an interesting idea for a video. So I've done some expectations versus reality videos, on this channel, but usually I do it in terms of either it's a free agent who has played one season or it's a rookie who just got drafted. I've never done a free agent who's played 6 seasons for one team, but I thought it could be fascinating. So Kirk Cousins was drafted by the Washington Commanders in the same draft that they selected Robert Griffin III. He played for 6 seasons for the Washington Commanders and, had some success. Eventually, the Commanders franchise tagged him multiple times and finally let him walk. And it was the Minnesota Vikings who have had him for the following 6 seasons. If we go over here, this is going to be the Wikipedia page for the list of Minnesota Vikings seasons, and we're starting with 2017, which was the last year prior to the Kirk Cousins era. They got Kirk Cousins for the 2018 season, and there was a lot of hype once they got Kirk Cousins. I remember the memes were like, oh, Packers fans aren't going to like this because the Vikings won 13 games with turmoil at the quarterback position. It was actually Case Keenum who started the year as the third-string quarterback with Teddy Bridgewater and Sam Bradford being ahead of him, Bradford being the starter. But Keenum played okay, and they were able to make it all the way to the conference championship game. So in theory, going from Case Keenum to Kirk Cousins when you're already a 13-win team should make you Super Bowl contenders, but that did not happen. They won only one playoff game, which in fairness is still, winning a playoff game is winning a playoff game. It's more than the Vikings had won in the 6 years prior to the 2017 season, but still not maybe what they thought they were going to have happen once they signed Cousins. They did have a 13-win season in the mix in 2022, but a lot of people, including myself, felt like that was a bit of a fraudulent 13-win team. Their defense was really bad that year, but and their underlying numbers weren't great. Granted, still thought they should have done more than get knocked out round 1, but I don't know if they were fully a championship contender that year either. They also finished with under 9 wins and missing the playoffs in 4 out of those 5 seasons, 4 out of the 6 seasons that Cousins was there. In half of the seasons, they finished with a sub-500 record, although, again, asterisks on 2023, they were 4-4 and playing their best football once Cousins got injured. Also, apologies if this is a little bit visually uninteresting. I always tell myself when I put graphics on the screen, try not to take forever because I feel it can get a little boring, but I then can't help myself and have so much to say. I end up spending too much time talking over these, but we will get into film in a second, I promise. But let's first go over to his box score stats. And if you see, the expectations versus reality were bad, right? They were expecting to be a championship contender. They completely fell off. So, not great. Well, and maybe saying completely fell off is unfair. Only won one playoff game. Well, if you look at Cousins, he actually kind of had his best years in Minnesota. I mean, you compare the 6 years with the, they say Commanders. I guess they've auto-corrected it to that. And compared to his 6 years with the Vikings, you see that his career passer rating is 98.2, and in 5 out of the 6 years he played for Minnesota, he had a passer rating above that, and a lot of times significantly above that. If you look at his Pro Football Focus grades, sorry it's a little small on the screen, but I'll tell you them as well if you can't read it. But, you definitely see that the bar is a lot longer the further you get towards the bottom of the screen, which is the more recent years. He was the 9th highest graded quarterback in both of the past 2 seasons, and then the 6th highest graded quarterback in 2021 and 2019. And then, 2020, he was the 11th highest graded quarterback. In 2018, the first year, 15th highest graded quarterback. Whereas for Washington, he only had 1 year where he was top 10. So, box score stats, PFF grades, and even film, we'll show some film. The film was honestly very good as well. He did a lot of just really, good, quick processing type stuff where things like this, TJ Hawkinson's route, the one more over the middle on this 3rd down and 9 is where Cousins is going to look towards. Watch how when Kirk Cousins took the snap, he's going to fire in TJ Hawkinson's way. And you see he's already into throwing motion. I mean, he did a really good job of this and only has gotten better as his career has gone along. Watch him put the ball in TJ Hawkinson's hands, and they're able to get a big conversion there on 3rd down and 9. You also had stuff like this, where what's going to happen here is it's going to be a deep shot to Jordan Addison. That's how this is working. When this play begins, Kirk Cousins is going to, step up in the pocket and fire. But I love how he makes this throw, because you see how Addison kind of has a bit of inside leverage right here. And I feel like what Cousins does such a good job of is understanding leverage and how to put the ball in a good position. As you see, that's exactly what he does, and they're able to pick up a touchdown on that play, in large part because of the smart decision-making that Cousins was able to make there. And also going over here, there was a lot of good throws as well. It's not like he's just a smart quarterback who isn't capable of making plays. Something like this, it's zone coverage, and you have actually Justin Jefferson running a route that, on paper, definitely could work. Cousins is going to take the snap. He runs a play action and fires towards Jefferson. And again, there's a window, but it's not a huge window here at all. However, it doesn't matter. Cousins is able to put one right on the money. They are able to pick up a completion. I mean, again, I think we kind of get it. I have a couple other plays I was going to show, but I don't think I need to. We understand the idea of Kirk Cousins. He's a good quarterback, which is kind of what makes this topic so fascinating. Did he live up to the hype for the Vikings? The Vikings certainly didn't. The team success was not what they wanted it to be. I mean, they were hopeful that they could be a championship contender. They thought he was going to, get them over the hump, and they never really even came close. Again, they had an upset victory against the Saints in the playoffs in 2019, and that's it. They maybe could have gone on a run in 2022, but I don't think that they were really going to go on a deep run, in my opinion, that year either. Maybe you can disagree, and that's fine. We're allowed to disagree with each other. But what I find interesting is that, like I said, Cousins kind of performed better with the Vikings. So what's the takeaway here? Well, part of it is simply just it's the quarterback conundrum, which Cousins has gotten talked about a lot in this scenario of if you pay a good quarterback who isn't a great quarterback big money, usually the talent around him is going to, make it tougher to win. I also think in some ways that 13-win team in 2017 got a bit lucky. If you go back and watch Case Keenum that year, I feel like he threw a lot of jump balls that Adam Thielen or Stephon Diggs just happened to come down with, and there were a lot of dropped interceptions that year. Keenum did get very lucky in that sense. Not to say that they weren't a good team. They still beat a good Saints team in the playoffs. It's funny how they keep beating the Saints, but they beat a good Saints team in the playoffs in 2017. Took a Minneapolis Miracle to make it happen, but still, it also took a great drive by Drew Brees at the end of that game for the Saints to be up in the first place. So, it was a well-fought game back and forth. But as a whole, that's kind of how I view it, is I think they were probably not quite a championship contending team when they got Cousins, and they just kind of thought that they were just a quarterback away. But also, it's tough when you go out and you do pay okay quarterback, or not an okay quarterback, a good quarterback, great money. It usually doesn't work out. So Cousins did realistically everything you could have hoped for when you made this decision. It's just probably not a decision that tends to result in Super Bowls. So that's how I view it. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.